What the fuck just happened? It did some things that I was like, that's not physically possible. Some of those hops, I was like, is this CGI? Ohayou gozaimasu.
Ohayou gozaimasu. Welcome to our newest entry in our Tokyo Wards video series, of which
it's a ward video.
We haven't shot one in so long. It's been literally years because we were in Europe and stuff. That I was sitting here going, what wards have we done? And I could only come up with Nakano and Minato. And have we done more than that? I don't remember. So this might be the third entry, but it's been years since the last one happened. And the basic idea is that we are going to check out a new ward, of which there are 23 of, right?
Yep,
in Tokyo.
We're knocking them down right now.
And and it's a ward is just an area or a neighborhood of the city. And we are going to do Sumida-Ku, which is actually the ward that we currently are living in.
I figured if we moved here, we should probably get to know it, and we've been here for almost a year now, so.
But the thing is we live right on the border with Taito-Ku, which is actually where we're standing right now. And this is where
we is Sumida-Ku.
Yeah, on the other side of the river. So this is, we actually spend most of our time outside of our apartment in not Sumida-Ku. It's a residential area, and it doesn't have like the neighborhood draw that we have coming across the bridge and coming over here to do shopping and to do things with like restaurants and meeting people and like sites and things like that. Most of that is on this side of the river.
What it does have are the things that are behind us, and those are major tourist draws, such as the Asahi building, the giant poo, and the Skytree. Those things are huge draws.
And you can see all three. Go backwards. The Asahi building, the giant poo, and the sky. And the Skytree.
Yeah.
So,
well, I want to point out that with a ward video, those are things we're not really aiming at today.
Yeah.
Like, I love that about ward video.
Well, I think we can cover the Asahi building and the giant poo right now on the shot. And the Asahi building is the Asahi beer factory, like not the factory, but the company, their headquarters.
Yeah.
And it's supposed. What did you say? It's supposed to look like a
beer mug.
A beer mug. So that's this thing here. And then the giant poo is next to it, and it's supposed to look like a glass of beer with a flame coming out of it, but the flame is supposed to be standing upwards like this. However, because of like a building restriction of some sort that I'm not clear on, they had to build it sideways, or so I've been told. So now it looks just like a poo, and like literally everybody in the country calls it golden poo. So
well, hold on, we read that it was made by submarine people. Maybe they didn't know that turds float.
Maybe it's true. Yeah, the big poo part is like it's hollow, and it was built by a submarine factory people, like because the body of it is the same. And it was designed by a French guy. So now I think you guys know everything that we know about it. Oh, what do we call it? The Kaba?
No, yes. Because
it's like this big black thing, and I am always expected to see a whole bunch of salarymen just like walking around it, like worshiping it, like because it's a beer thing. It's in the morning.
Sometimes I see the trail of people coming from the station, and it certainly does look like they're just heading over to their own Mecca.
Yeah.
Also, Skytree. It's big. I was looking at it on Google Maps, and I was just wandering over the area next to it, and then the antenna, or like the top of it, covered up the whole screen of Google Maps. Yeah. And it's so close because the 3D that Google Maps does. It was really funny to me.
It's the second tallest structure that humans have ever built in the world, like right after the Burj Khalifa. So it doesn't count as a building because it's a tower, but it is shockingly large, and we'll probably be walking by it. So we'll talk about that later.
We'll definitely be walking by it.
Yeah, I think that kind of establishes this. We're not going to hit the big touristy things, like we're not going to go to the beer garden that they've got underneath the big poo. It's just a cruddy little beer garden. I mean, it's not bad, but it's nothing. Yeah, we went there and ate We had a sandwich or something, and it was okay. Barbecue sandwich. I mean, it's just like tourist chow. It's not a big deal.
You know what? All people will go there. So we're hoping to find some things in our backyard that are
exactly. That's the point.
Unexpected.
We're gonna go find if we can find some just off the beaten path stuff.
I already have some ideas.
You do already have some ideas. So across the bridge with us and onto Sumida-Ku. To get to Sumida-Ku from Taito-Ku, you have to cross a bridge, of which there are many. The one we are crossing is called Azumabashi. And what you are crossing is the Sumida-Gawa, which is the Sumida River. And the thing about this that confused me at first, and then also confused some of my Japanese friends, was that Sumida-Gawa, the river, uses 2 different kanjis for Sumida than Sumida-Ku does. And that's really not that important of information, but I did think it was kind of noteworthy. Bothersome. It is a little bit bothersome. You got completely different words, the kanjis making up these words, and it's kind of like, what is happening? Why is it? Does anybody know why? I really don't know. I've tried to look it up, but I'm just like, but I pointed this out to Japanese friends, and they sit there and like, yeah, it is different. Like, they're kind of like, whoa, why is that?
I never really sat there and thought about it. Some of them don't live here.
Yeah. It's just something you don't think about.
But some of them did. And they're like, what? Yeah, why? I never even thought about it.
And so we're crossing a river, and Sumida-Ku is actually, I think it's completely on an island that is in the middle of the Arakawa in the Sumida River.
Yeah,
and both
so
of these
they
drain
fork
down into Tokyo Bay. Yeah, they fork up north and then they go down south into Tokyo Bay. So we technically live on an island that is next to another island, that other island being Honshu.
Yes, true.
I mean, if you live in Japan, you live on an island, you can't dispute it, but we live on a smaller island inside
on an island, by an island, in an island.
Are we
on a planet?
Are we in Sumida-Ku or on Sumida-Ku?
I'm about to get on it.
We are just stepping on.
Get on it. Get on it.
For breakfast, I've got shiopan, which is salt bread. It's funny because there's like a single solitary salt grain on this piece of bread. So it's not like exactly drenched in salt, but this place is quite popular, oddly. You'll come over here sometimes and there will be lines down the street of people waiting to get bread from this little place, and this is their speciality. It's on the name of the bag, like shiopanya and shiopanya. It's like, this is their game. And I gotta say, you go in there, you give them 100 yen, they give you one of these things that's warm, and it is shockingly delicious. Like, you're like, how could they make something this simple, this delicious, and ahead of the game of other places making it, it stands out. I would recommend going in there and handing them 100 yen.
My breakfast has started off with a little bit of disappointment. This is Oshinari-kun, and he is among a gaggle of mascots that either are about the Skytree or the surrounding areas. They are all quite boring, to tell you the truth, and we kind of just laugh them off and don't really think about them as mascots. But there's a bakery that's supposed to make his bread, Oshinari-kun Pan, and so I went there. They must not respect him like we don't respect him. And they didn't make the bread this morning, I guess, or it all got bought out and everybody's really into him. But it's 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning, not many people are out, so I think they just stopped making the bread. That's how I feel. You know who it is. It's your boy. And if my breakfast doesn't work out, I always got a plan B. And plan B is some very breakfast sushi that's handmade right now, not getting stuff at a kombini, which is amazing. We went to a little shop that had these 2 little ladies in it that were just super excited to see us and to hear me order what they're making. They were very, very excited. And now we've just got a nice little package of food. One of the surprising things about this food was that it seemed Sumo certified. There were some pictures inside of Sumo guys on a calendar, and when I looked this up on the internet, it just showed Sumo dudes. And Sumo's pretty big in Sumida-Ku. That unwrapping was awesome, and I watched her wrap it and was just like, this lady knows what she's doing. Like, the kid that she tucks in bed at nighttime, that kid is not getting out. Like, that's what I think about her skills. Ginger on its own. This is inari sushi, and it basically just looks like a ball sack. The outside is tofu that's been fried, but then has been soaking in like a sweet sauce. Inside is a concoction of rice that I think is going to be like store specific. Any store could make like what they want on the inside. Generally, it's got a vinegary taste, and the vinegar and the sweet dance with each other in your mouth, and it's fantastic. We also have some maki, and we don't really, we ordered ume on the inside, so these are going to be a little sour. So we've got vinegar, sweet, and sour. This is a great breakfast. I'm so glad that nobody respects Oshinari-kun. I'm gonna start with the inari sushi, because that's what I'm in it for.
Because it's ball sack?
Yes. Just a boy dangler. Avert your eyes, all men, because this isn't gonna go the way you think it's gonna go. Probably never had these fresher. I tried to make it myself once. It went very badly. Holy crap. The sweetness is like overwhelming. The vinegar is low. That's quality. These giggly ladies, I would go back. And we were just talking about how I never go back anywhere. I'd go back.
Now that everybody knows what my ball sack looks like, I'm gonna be trying out the maki that we got, and like Katie said, it's ume, which is the same thing that would make umeshu with, or umeboshi, which are those little sour plums. If you've ever been in Japan and eaten one and been like, it's really sour. This has got like a ume pate, is that the right word? Like they've blended kind of, they've made it into like a mush, the ume plumage, and then they've stuffed it into some rice and wrapped it in seaweed. I expect it to be sour. It's good. It's sour. It's it tastes homemade in a very good way, like very complimentary way. It does not taste like the same thing that you would get from a convenience store or something. And I think that the difference is not significant, but it's something that I can determine now because I've eaten so many things like of this type of like food, like rice and like wrapped and like, you know, those types of things. And I've had so many of them at convenies, and I've had quite a few things like in this vein from places like these ladies that made this. And this leans over to the good side of it. It doesn't feel mass produced. It feels like somebody put a little bit of heart in there.
Many people have asked us if we've gone up into the Skytree, and we have not, because usually with big buildings, we just stare at them from the outside with appreciation. Same thing with the Skytree. I want to tell you my favorite thing to do, particularly with the Skytree, and I figured this out one time when I was laying kind of on the ground next to it. If you do that and you stare up at it, you can change your plane of existence to where the Skytree feels like the ground. You just trick your brain, and then think to yourself of walking out onto the Skytree. It is a very weird feeling, and every time that I get close to it, I try to trick my brain into that. He's sleeping.
We have walked just a couple minutes away from the Skytree, and you're gonna see in this video as we go along that the Skytree sort of looms over the entire ward. It's gonna be in the background of probably quite a lot of shots, and as we walk around, you see it at different varying angles and stuff. And as we're walking away from it, this is going down a road that is near, like, towards our apartment. So I come up and down this road quite a bit because the Skytree area has a lot of shopping. So I've noticed this place in the past, and what's behind me is what I think, I'm not 100% certain, but what I think is a sumo dojo or where sumo wrestlers live. I know for a fact that sumo dudes are part of this building for two reasons. One, the vending machine has got a sumo dude on it. And two, sumo dudes I have seen coming in and out of this building. And on this bottom floor, I have seen kids that live in the area go up and knock on the window, and a sumo dude opens it and talks to them. And on one occasion, the kid got to go inside. Like he was like, oh, you can come in and like watch or whatever is happening in there. So there are sumo-esque things going on, and that will tie in a little bit to what we will be showing later in the video. That is probably the most famous thing after the Skytree. Or, well, what's more famous? We'll find out. I'll think about it. But a very famous part of this ward is tying in with what's going on in this building.
Inside through the window, which we're probably not going to get a good shot of, you can actually see the ring. This is where they come to practice, but seems like on the 7th day the sumo's rested.
Near our apartment building, there is a little park. And it is the Japanese garden style of park where it's got a little pond and a little island in the middle of the pond, and there's koi and there's turtles. And it's a very peaceful area, but I'll be real, it's cool to just come and walk through, but as the park that's closest to where we live, I find it to be kind of, I hate to say this word, it's kind of useless in a way. Like, it's okay to just walk around, but if you want to have a place to sit down and have a picnic or something, this isn't really that great for it, just the way that the grounds are set up. There aren't like opened areas for that, and there's no place to come over here if you're like, have a family and like play catch or like throw a frisbee around or anything. It's not a functional park, it's just a pretty little park. And I think those have their place. There's one in Shinjuku that's like super famous, and it has an entry fee. And with that entry fee, that keeps the Japanese garden like aspect of it super, super nice, because they have people coming through and keeping it maintained and trimming everything. And like, that's like a daily activity that's going on with the people that work at that park. But because this is just a regular open public park, there isn't a really strong drive to keep it perfect.
Yeah,
so
what's this?
Yeah.
That's what's going on there. Shouldn't that be trimmed?
I can't. It's a finger. What are you talking about? Oh, this guy?
Right,
oh,
yeah.
I see.
This is very obscured.
Yeah. So they would trim that off, and it's not a problem really. But I just feel like that this park just falls into this valley of like, it's not perfect and clean enough to be like a pristine Japanese garden, and then it's also doesn't have any functionality. So it's sort of like, I don't really come over here very often. Like, I think I would come chill here sometimes if it was a more functional thing like Yoyogi Park or something. And that's not something we really have on this side of the city. So I wish that we could trade in some of this like classical looking Japanese stuff for that. I mean, that's coming from like this guy's perspective. Maybe somebody else loves this. And the park does have a little bit of function because there's a shrine in it that is sort of famous. A lot of people will go there, and I see people taking wedding photos and stuff in this, because if you get the right angles and you get this out of the shot, then you can get a fairly picturesque looking shot. But yeah, I mean, it's a little Japanese garden. It's kind of cool to have next to you, but like, aside from just coming over here as a tourist sort of and checking it out, it's not very functional for a resident.
I know that this is like how fountains might be made here, but this is something that isn't common to me, and every time I see one of these, I always ask myself, how high does it shoot? You might want to back up, son. We've seen ones that go like really far up into the air, and that's dangerous because people are expecting to drink out of them, like to put their face over it, and that's like a nose full of water. That one I probably would have gotten a nose full, but I know now that you have to turn it slightly. But I like to go full blast just to see if we can shoot the moon.
I didn't want to be the person to tell you this, but you be drinking out of a bidet.
It's putting their... They're gonna shoot their butt to the moon?
I mean, you gotta clean out. That's what it's for. You want to turn that on
that in the public?
On full power.
My brain farted. Don't sniff my brain farts. So we're heading to a bunch of temples because I found a very cool map on the internet that said the 7 deities of good luck.
Temples or shrines?
Buildings of spiritual meaning, which I do not know.
This is a shrine.
Sweet.
Are we at? Is this one of them?
Yes,
Okay,
and
so-
inside this
yeah.
this shrine houses 2 gods. So
Okay.
we need to find 2 gods in this
We have
shrine.
to find the gods.
Yes, we are
Okay. Do you
we are
know
looking for the gods.
What am I looking for specifically?
I don't know. The map just showed the map.
Okay.
I found the dot on the map. Now
All right.
you find the gods of good luck.
The gods of good luck. So that's
Yep.
my clue.
Yeah.
All right.
And there's 2 here.
Okay.
In total, there's 7.
But there's 2 in this one, but of 7
Yeah.
there's 2. Okay. All right. Cool. This
So-
one's are they all crowded like that or?
No, all the other ones are singular.
Oh, so this
These
is
two are these are the only pair.
This is the double god.
Yeah.
Double god shrine.
Yep, we're starting
All
off big.
Did you find any gods?
I can't find any gods, and I was told that I was going to get stamps for finding gods.
There's
So
a stamp rally?
there's a stamp rally for the gods, and I have not found any stamps nor any gods.
What were they gonna stamp?
I was going to stamp.
But what? Were you gonna stamp your hand?
I have a piece of paper. I came prepared for the gods. Daikoku Ebisu. These are the gods' stamps. Did you? I didn't really see the gods.
I think
You're
it's more
supposed
of
to feel it?
Yeah.
Now, I said I came prepared, but this is just like the guide I got from the eye doctor.
They do sell paper. They sell special paper for 300 yen for the stamp rally.
Is it when they're open?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's here right now, so
Yeah,
you
so
might be on your own.
thank you, eye doctor. These look like bags. Inari sushi? There's some little trinkets here, and it's for all the years of the zodiac. But every single one of these looks stressed out beyond belief. They're just, what happened to this snake? I was looking forward to having using a map as opposed to GPS, but this is all charted out for us on the path that we're gonna take. It says Sumida-Gawa 7 Gods Path-ish? Yeah, so I think that they're just gonna guide us on our way, and I won't get to challenge myself with a map. These little things are scattered all around the city, all around the country probably, honestly. This one is pretty cool. We spotted it because of the little lights on the side. Looks like a dollhouse, like one of your friends who had one of those amazing dollhouses had back in the day. You know her. She got a dollhouse. We're at our second shrine, looking for our third god. Where could he be?
I'm gonna bet he is in here. Well, he or she. I don't think that they're all he's.
Well, she's got the dollhouse.
It's a they
and
them.
He's a god.
It's a they them situation.
It is a
Katie.
they them situation.
I haven't thought about this because it's not the world that I live in, but it's kind of rare to see a shrine that doesn't have steps up to it. They all have steps. And as an able-bodied person, I just go up the steps. I don't think about it. But this shrine has an area off to the side that's for wheelchair access, so they can get up to the prayer area. And it looks like it is comparatively new. So it looks like a new-ish addition to the construction. And I guess I've just never really thought to think about that. But if you're in a wheelchair, you can't get up easily to shrine stuff. I don't know if other places have got ramps or something I can put up for people that need them, but yeah, this is kind of nice. We're moving into the new century.
Watch your head. It's time for another stamp.
Katie got another stamp. And this one's a little peculiar because you got to walk through what looks like a elementary. No, it's like what's below an elementary school. What was that in English?
preschool.
Preschool. Yeah.
And I was literally physically thinking like the ground is the little way. Nah,
Yeah, but you have to walk through the grounds of a preschool just to get to the little temple. So
Wait,
that kind of
ground in there.
That kind of makes me. Oh yeah. That kind of makes me feel like you're not supposed to go in.
Yes.
Like when you see kids stuff, you're like, oh, whoop, that's off limits to strangers or whatever. And I think that if they were in session, it would have been even weirder to walk through. But since it's Sunday, there's nobody here. It's not a big deal.
Give a rotate, 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 and look up.
Oh, the Skytree?
Yeah.
Is that what we're going for?
I rotated the wrong direction, so it's a little bit longer than expected.
This is probably true of most wards, actually, because, I mean, there's a lot of people in a city, but most of this ward is residential.
I want to add a note to that.
Okay.
And the note is that there are like 13 or 14 little areas that make up Sumida-Ku. And as I was looking in them, I'd type in the name of the area, and it would just show me real estate ads.
Oh,
So it's
interesting.
some places are like that's all that's there. There's no even like tourist draw at all. It's just like come live here.
Yeah, I mean, you got to put the people someplace, and that's where the people are, you know?
Smell-o-vision, pasta's being cooked somewhere around
somebody
us.
is cooking some pasta.
Lots of pasta, I guess.
So as we're walking north, we're walking kind of parallel to the river up to the tip of Sumida-Ku, and it has just turned into this is where people this is the place where people live. It doesn't even be very much like shopping or like little markets or anything like that. It's just apartments and little houses and little tangles of streets. We're going this way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm kind of trying to figure out where we're going.
There's no more signs. We're still trying to find the other God stamps, but I don't see.
I'm using the PDF.
Now
Don't
we got to
worry.
use the PDF.
Badly.
Walking through this little tangle of streets and houses and apartments and stuff, I have noticed three things in the last couple of minutes that have caught my attention. The first thing was in front of a little house, they have got some running water and a little bucket and fountain and then a couple of little buckets outside of it. And I think they're growing wasabi in front of their house. I'm not 100% sure, but it's really shaped like what I think wasabi looks like in the wild. And with the running water and stuff and like the setup that they had, I think it's my educated guess is fairly correct on that. The second thing that I saw is something that you see all the time. You will see these jugs of water, and they're just a bunch of plastic jugs outside of somebody's house, and they're just sitting there. And for a long time, we were like, why is this happening? We could always tell it was at like an old person's house, but we could never figure out what the purpose was. And a long time ago, I figured out by Googling, I think, that those jugs are there because in a drama, like a TV show in the 70s or 80s, somebody said that if you put these outside of your house, it'll keep cats away because the cats don't like the way the light reflects out of the jugs. But it's totally not true. Cats don't care at all about jugs of water. So this myth started, and now all these older people that were, youngish when that drama had been popular, put these jugs of water outside their house. And you see it all over the country. Like people that just don't want cats nearby, so they do that. And the reason is because the cats make noise and make messes, etc., etc. So the logic is flawed. The cats are still coming by. The third thing that I found is we were kind of lost because the PDF isn't super informative. And
by the PDF, he means Katie doesn't know where we are.
Katie's lost. That's what I meant. And we came to a street that looked kind of cool, and that's what's behind me. It's a very interesting looking street with a lot of older buildings. And we could tell on the map that it was a dead end, so we weren't going to go down there. But then I noticed that this sign was on this pole, and these signs are signs that are for businesses. And a lot of times they will be for like the dentist is down this way, or there's a hospital over this way, or just different like things of that nature. And this specific one says that there is, and I'm not 100% sure what's going on, but the first two kanji at the top is just the name. The second two kanji means cure. And then the third kanji is kind of like a kanji that means sort of like place. They use it in the word for hospital. So the stuff that matters is cure, hospital-ish place. Like that's kind of like the vibe that I get from this. And I was like, what the hell? And it's like down this like very residential area at the end of a dead end. It was really weird. So I walked down there, and there is a creepy little like door opened, and it's this structure. So I don't know. It feels witch doctor-esque to me. Like that's the vibe that I'm getting from this. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's like a kind of like Chinese medicine-ish type thing or something, but you can usually smell those. I don't know. I'm very confused as to what's going on back there, but it's a very strange place to see a business functioning.
Definitely a cure back there. If anything, Something weird has grown back there that could probably cure all.
This is a pretty standard example of a modern Japanese house in a city, and you can see that it is fairly tall, and the reason is because the plot of land that it's sitting on is fairly small, because the land is vastly more valuable than what's sitting on top of it. And there is a parking area in the front. That's really common because to have a parking space anyplace else is ridiculously expensive, and there isn't any street parking in here. The roads are too narrow. So people will build these houses that are essentially, they look just like this. And the thing that always strikes me about them is there's no windows. Like, they have tiny little windows. It's because of the desire for privacy. And when you're living this close to everything. Oh, 大丈夫ですよ。はい、すみません。はい、すみません。This lady was like, oh, is it okay if I go through your shot? I was like, yeah, it's okay. 気をつけて。And the lack of windows is just, again, like a privacy thing. So people will build the houses and it's just this wall. And it always, I don't know, I personally would prefer, I guess, to just have a window that I could open sometimes, just have some light in and then put a curtain up. Like, that would be my personal solution, but that is not the way that more modern houses are. Older houses do have windows in the front of them, but it's like a modern trend is like, just build the wall and keep the people out.
Continuing on trying to find all of the gods, and we've come to a temple that is interesting in the fact that it's also a garden, and we've paid entrance to come into this one, so it will contrast how Sumida-Ku, which is just a walk-through park with a garden feel, and this one is a focused garden, like people are taking care of this one. What I love about the stamp is they used green ink for possibly the garden. I might be putting some meaning on things that isn't really there, but I still like it. Through the twisty little paths in this garden, we have found a gigantic gourd, just hanging from what looks like what you'd find in Italy for wine or something like that, what are the purple plants the lavender hangs down from in some places around the world? I don't know where that happens, but wow. Come listen. Why is he doing that? That doesn't look like safe water. Look! Skytree. Do you remember those big posters they used to have in Tokyo that just said, look, Skytree? They were just big, and it was a picture of the Skytree, and it just said, look, Skytree. That was it.
I don't remember that at all.
Wow. They were up for like a good 2 years, maybe 3 years ago. And that was one of my favorite things to say whenever I saw Skytree was like, look, Skytree. That's how you learn Japanese. This is how you can tell a paid garden from a non-paid garden park thing. Look at the curl in this twig bit, okay? I paid for that.
What is this?
It's the tunnel.
Why is there a tunnel?
I don't really know, but I saw it on the internet and was like, that looks like fun. It's time to find another god and another stamp.
What number are we on?
6.
Oh, so we only have 2 left?
Yep, only 2. Oh, yeah, 2 left. I was doing math badly.
Did you find the god?
Not yet. I'm just kind of taking it all in. Rilakkuma is a big deal here. What's up with that?
You think Rilakkuma is a big deal? What I want you to do is I want you to turn over one of these wish boards. I want you to turn this one over, okay?
All right.
You ready? Yeah.
It's a friend of Real Akuma. Sumida is home to Seiko watches. Seiko built a factory here, and that's where Seiko watches began and is still kind of coming from, I guess. But they also built a museum here, and Sumida's not known, but it is filled with a lot of weird museums, like a stationery museum, the Tobacco and Salt Museum, the Life Danger Preparedness Museum. I saw a lot of them. I'm hoping to see them along the way as we go, and it turns out that this one...
I think it's open.
Oh, it might be open, so let's have a peek. Are you seeing how big this clock is?
What time is it?
Almost 10.
But what time is it really?
It's almost 10:10. No. This clock is wrong. That's misleading. I really thought it was 2 hours earlier. I was like, we are doing great on this trip. Museum videos are never good, so we're basically never going to shoot a museum video unless it's really interactive, and this is not very interactive.
Here's a museum video.
Right now. But badass stuff from the 1980s where people like recording into their wrist and then playing it back, but that data was going to go nowhere. Just stayed on their wrist. Idiots.
Cool little museum. I think if you're into watches, it would definitely be something to stop by.
Yeah.
Check out. They've got English explanations and stuff. It's cool to see the history and the evolution of the designs of their watches, and then it goes way back to these super old clocks that would have been made back in the day in Japan, like all the way back to sundials. They've got like a Chinese sundial, and then some that are like powered by weights and stuff. And they also have a little area where Seiko makes stuff for like the Olympics and sports. So for people like I didn't realize this, but when you jump off of a platform to swim, for swimming, that thing has got a timer inside of it, so that they can tell like the exact like microsecond that somebody jumped off. So they've got a display that shows that kind of stuff. And I mean, you could probably make it through that museum and actually ingest everything it has in an hour and a half or something like that. And
how long did we spend?
We don't have a lot of time. We were there for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, but
we realized we could just walk back.
Yeah, we could walk
here.
back. We live down the street, so we could just come back over here whenever. Yeah, and
we've got time.
When we. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
And I'm just very hungry is the main problem. So I guess we're headed food ways,
We are
right?
heading to Tommy's Kitchen.
Cool. Hopefully they're open.
Yep, I hope so too.
We're still headed northward, and it is still super residential. It even feels more and more residential and disconnected from the city of Tokyo the deeper we walk. And we've come across something that looks disused, but I thought it was kind of cool because it is a sento, and it used to it would have been a bathhouse back in the day. Not an onsen, like not coming with like natural water or anything, but they just heat the regular sewer water and then pump it into the baths. Sewer water, the clean sewer water, not the dirty sewer water. And it's pretty cool because it's split into two pieces, and this is for women and this is for dudes, and it is color coordinated and everything. I just thought it caught my eye, and it is a little piece of old Japan. These do still exist though. You can still find sentos and stuff in the city, but maybe this one just is, everybody's got baths at home now, so I think that maybe the market has probably gone away a little bit from what it used to be.
We're still in the residential area, and as I went through Tabeloggu, looking at the restaurants that are available in Sumida-Ku, dozo. Arigatou gozaimasu. As we went through, looking at what was top rated, what continued to happen was Teishoku restaurants. And Teishoku restaurants typically tend to be restaurants that are going to give you a lot of little things. Like I've got some pickles over here, a main dish, a little bit of salad, a soup, and rice. That's Teishoku. And there were a lot of restaurants that were top rated, and I kind of think that comes with a bit of suburbia, bit of residential. This is like home food. This is what people want to eat all the time. You don't really have to get a craving for a teishoku like you might have to for other types of food. And we have chosen one that I've never had before. This was a chicken and cheese roll. There's chicken and cheese inside of there, and I'm gonna try it. Definite cordon bleu kind of vibe with no ham. It's fantastic. Best thing on the menu for real. All teishoku restaurants should have this. It could have a little bit more cheese and maybe not burn my tongue off. But the flavor and the fun of it, the newness, makes it fantastic. You got the chicken rice.
I may have made a mistake. I looked at the menu and it had like tons and tons and tons and tons of really good stuff. And one of the things was omuraisu, which is like a ketchup rice that with an egg on top of it. And I'm always really excited about that. As basic as it sounds, it's usually pretty delicious. And sometimes you can get one that has chicken inside of it as well. And I thought when I ordered chicken rice, that's what I was going to get. But what I got was just the rice and the chicken and no omelet on top. So a bit of a mistake on my own assumptions. And I'm looking over here at Katie's chicken rolls, and I'm like, man, I really might have screwed this up. So let's hope that they've done something magic with this, because I'd like to leave feeling fulfilled. I kind of get the vibe it's going to be good, to be real. Like before the bite, I could something about this place just feels good. Like they know what they're doing. It's pretty damn good. It's got a really good ketchup-y taste to it. The chicken is like a good like texture and everything. It's pretty damn tasty. But the main thing that I'm super excited for is when we came in and we sat down, there were a couple of older guys sitting next to us, and they both were drinking the melon soda. And I was like, I need some nuclear green melon soda. What sold me was the cherry. This is just going to be normal melon soda. Yo, it's so good. It's something I have fallen in love with living in Japan. It is really good. If you come, you got to try it. I don't know. I think it took me a while before it became like something that was dear to my heart. But oh, dude, check out that bendy straw. Awesome. But yeah, melon soda is something I look forward to when I find it now. You hate it, right?
I do not like it, and I really want one of those cherries, but I'm asking myself, how poisoned have they been by the melon soda? This is going to be the worst fishing expedition I have ever been on. The fishing part, kind of fun. The rewards of the fishing, okay, don't smell. No smelling. Just go. We had to have a pit.
How's that cherry?
Not good.
Does it really taste like melon soda?
Yep, that was bad. I hate melon soda, still hate melon soda, kinda hate cherries now.
I pressed the record button and it's like it made it fall. Probably way too slow.
Way too slow.
She has a Nirvana shirt on. You're gonna balance. So if I go,
I have to get on it.
no, because I'm fat. So if I go less weight towards the end, on physics.
I'm trying to physics.
No, you're going back too far. Lean forward.
No, good.
No, we're not. Lean forward. Come on, give me a little more. Tie it up.
No hand. Wow. You can help us make more videos by supporting us on Patreon or PayPal, both linked below with all of our social media accounts. One more video from Sumida-Ku is on the way.